Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is. Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Let's get into it. We got a great episode here for you today. Oh, man, got some great topics we're going to touch on. The NBA playoffs, man, they are heating up. They are battling. And they're heating up, but some moves are being made in the offseason as well that we'll touch on, and the possibilities of what else may happen this offseason. But you know how I like to do it. Instead of talking your ear off to death, let's go ahead and jump into it. I like to kick it off with some news before we start it off. So let's go ahead and jump into some news. All right, so on May 12th, 2022, news for The Run. We have head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Monty Williams, have won Coach of the Year award for this season. And we called it. I should have pulled up the clip. I should have really pulled up the clip. But you know what? I'm going to chill out. But yeah, congrats to Monty Williams, man. We already said so. Actually, with our predictions of postseason awards, we're 5 for 6 so far. When I be telling y'all I'm not wrong, I really be trying to tell y'all I'm not wrong about this stuff. But we got just about everyone right besides the Rookie of the Year and the Most Improved Player. Oh, okay, so 4 for 6, because we missed out on the Most Improved Player as well. But that was kind of fluke. Different story. Anyway, moving on. The NBA, they'll now honor Larry Bird and Magic Johnson through postseason awards. The Eastern Conference Finals MVP award will be named after Larry Bird, and the Western Conference Finals MVP award will be named after Irvin Magic Johnson. Congratulations to them two. Those are living legends in the NBA. But the Nets GM, Sean Marks, says they have not made a decision on extending Kyrie Irving's contract if he decides to opt out his player option for this 2022-2023 season for a long-term extension. And he was asked about committing to Kyrie Irving long-term, and this was his response.
We've been discussing, and we will continue to debrief on and discuss throughout this off season. And it's honestly not just Kyrie. I mean, you bring Kyrie up, but we have decisions to make on a variety of different free agents throughout our roster. We haven't had any of those discussions yet, so it'd be unfair for me to comment on how it looks with us and Kyrie, because to be quite frank, he has some decisions to make on his own. So he has to look at what he's going to do with his player option and so forth like that. But I think we know what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
All right, and that was Sean Marks. But more recent times, last night in Game 5, the Milwaukee Bucks, they pulled off a nail-biter against the Boston Celtics, winning in the late game, 110-107. That was an amazing game that we got to witness here, but oh my goodness. So the Bucks, they outscored the Boston Celtics in this game, 33-21 in the fourth quarter. And they went 6 for 6 from deep in the fourth, from the three-point line. And the Celtics didn't even put up a three-point attempt in the fourth quarter. But the Bucks, they also out-rebounded the Celtics 14-6 in the fourth quarter. And it kills me here. So the Celtics, they did not play bad basketball at all throughout this game. This was a hell of a game from both sides and both teams that were involved in this game. But anytime you leave the Milwaukee Bucks with a fighting chance, you can't do that. You can't do that. With the Milwaukee Bucks, you have to kill and bury and put 2 extras in there to make sure they're not coming back. Because this Milwaukee Bucks team is absolutely crazy. If you give them any type of fighting chance, they will come and get you. They will definitely come and get you. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's Jason Voorhees. Jrue Holiday, he's the weapon that Voorhees is using. The rest of the team of the Milwaukee Bucks, they're the setting, they're the music, they're the nighttime, they're everything else that's involved with setting up a perfect moment to execute the kill. Because these guys are something else. These Milwaukee Bucks are scary. And look, the first half of the game, they played a little loose. Giannis was holding them up as much as he could on his own. Had 40 and a double-double this game. But the way they tightened up in the second half said nothing less than, we are the defending champions, and you're going to have to beat us in order to go on to the next round. The Bucks, they had 9 turnovers in the first half, but don't forget, they tightened it up, cut it down to 4 turnovers in the second half. They forced 8 turnovers. Yeah, they forced 8 turnovers the second half, and they scored 13 points off of those 8 turnovers that they forced in the second half. Like, they were absolutely phenomenal in the late game of fourth quarter, and all they needed come second half was for Jrue Holiday and Bobby Portis to pull it through. Bobby Portis was huge pulling through for the Milwaukee Bucks. Came up with the game-winning rebound and then put the bucket in to give them the lead. So he was huge. And then you had Jrue Holiday. He didn't play his best game all series, or this game in the series, this game 5. But ultimately, he stepped up when they needed it most. And it was in crunch time. In crunch time, that's when he stepped up, Bobby Portis stepped up, and his team stepped up on the defensive end to make sure they could get the win. Because here, man, it was a hard-fought game. Definitely a hard-fought game that they played. And I know I said the Celtics in 6. I mentioned that way back when. I said the Celtics in 7. Correction. I said the Celtics in 7. And I still believe it is possible. But against this Milwaukee Bucks team, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. This team here, they're not with any of the games. And I honestly believe whoever wins this series between the Bucks and the Boston Celtics are winning the finals. They're winning the finals. Because no other team right now is playing as hard as these two teams. They're all inconsistent pretty much. We look at the Warriors. They're inconsistent. One night they want to play good. The other night they want to play bad. We'll touch on that in a second. You look at Phoenix, same thing with them. One night they're riled up playing great. Next night they're a little flat. Dallas, they just don't have enough. You look at the other teams in the East, they're shooting poorly on the road. Go look at that series, Miami and Philly. They're both shooting terrible each time they play each other at an away game. But these two teams here, they've been battling every single night, every game. The effort is there, the intensity is there, the hunger is there, the grit is there, the physicality is there, the play is there. And I cannot wait. To see this next game and how it turns out. Gonna be huge. But all right, so we got some more topics coming up here. We'll take a quick break. We do have the Golden State Warriors that we'll touch on just for a brief moment. And then, even better, we're going to touch on that Nets statement that we talked about earlier in the news segment. We brought that up, but we'll touch on that Nets segment as well. See what we cooking up there. But until then, let's take a quick break. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Now, you know, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
To your speakers and
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Thank you for tuning in. But let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of news that we have. Starting off with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers, they will interview Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson for a head coaching job. Other candidates for the position at this time are Terry Stotts, former Portland Trail Blazers head coach, Toronto Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin, and former Golden State Warriors head coach Mark Jackson. So Warriors or the Lakers, they actually putting up a good little fight of who can possibly be a good candidate here, and I like it. I like seeing that. On the other hand, last night we also witnessed the Memphis Grizzlies. They slapped up the Warriors in Game 5, avoiding elimination as they won 134-95. In this game here, whoo-wee. So the Memphis Grizzlies, they once led this game by 55 points. Yes, you heard me correct. They led this game by 55 points at one point in time in Game 5 last night. This game was a huge blowout. But here's what throws me off about this Warriors team. Because yes, Memphis, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They came out, played hard, fought because they were on the brink of elimination. So of course you have to give it your all. And credit to Memphis for taking care of business. They came out with intensity, and they also made shots. They came out hot. They balled out, and it impressed me because they actually held on to the lead that they grabbed early on. Usually we'd see them grab a 10-point, 15-point lead, and then that's when the Warriors start to trickle back down and play catch up. But the Warriors, on the other hand, I don't understand it. This is where I have a huge doubt for them when we talk about them possibly going back to the finals because of this inconsistency factor here. It makes no sense. One day they have a solid game and then they come back next game and it looks like they forgot they even had it on a schedule. Or they look like they just heard about the game a few hours ago and picked up some random people. Like what is up with that? They had 14 turnovers in the first half of the ball game against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies outscored the Warriors 42-17 in the third quarter. 42-17 points in the third quarter. That's and then when they lost the game, let's throw that in there because they blew out and they lost the game. This was the 5th largest loss in franchise playoff history. But here's the thing. This is what kind of irritates my soul a little bit because not only did they get blew out, not only did they get outplayed, not only did they look like absolute scrubs, even though they had the best shooters to ever touch a basketball. Here's what did it. They finished the game. Look, Draymond is a silly guy. I like Draymond, but he's laughing and dancing and turning up with the fans after getting spanked like this. This is an embarrassment. An embarrassment. They should not want to show their face even when they return home to Golden State. I get they gonna have the advantage when they play, but they shouldn't even want to show their face because this is damn pitiful. Who loses? First off, who trails a game by 55 points when you have someone they make an argument of the best player to touch a basketball? Yes, Steph Curry. Some people make that argument as well, but it's shameful. And to me, sometimes their demeanor looks like, okay, well, relax. All right, it's cool, whatever. We the Warriors. We can catch up. We the Warriors. They keep that same demeanor sometimes as if they have a Kevin Durant still just coming off the bench to help them come back from a lead. Like, oh, yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, they up 25, but it's straight. It's straight. We got another quarter. We got 7 minutes left, I guess. I mean, it's whatever. Like, and that's not cool because even in the the press conference after the game, like even in the post conference after the game, they were still laxed. And I get it's one game. You don't want the one game to define every single thing that's going on, but at the same time, that's not just one game in particular that went as normal and y'all just lost. And Draymond had a thing where he mentioned, okay, you lose by 5, you lose by 50, either way you lose the game. Yeah, but what the hell happened to pride? Come on now, what the hell happened to pride? Playing for pride. Is that really how you want to go out to any other team is getting spanked that bad by somebody who struggled to beat a play-in team and a team that you had down 3-1? It's almost as if the Golden State Warriors need pressure in order for them to play to their full potential, because they're closing out these games. They're closing out these games against the Memphis Grizzlies, and they're winning these games. But truthfully, they've only played good in about one of these games. They've only played good in one of these games, and that was the game they were missing Ja Morant, game 4. That was game 4 when they were missing Ja Morant, or when the Grizzlies were missing Ja Morant. But that was the only time they played good, is in game 4, and actually looked as if they worked hard and deserved to win their ball game that they just won. Any other time, they played bad and they just know how to close out a ball game. Therefore, they won. They have the experience of winning championships and playing in the playoffs, and they just closed out the ball game better than the Memphis Grizzlies, which led them to a win. But no, that's not gonna fly if you're trying to go back to the finals. If you're trying to go back to the championship and actually win, or no, that's not gonna count. And I still say, or well, I said the Warriors in 5. But at this point, I don't know what the hell they gonna do. We don't know what type of Warriors we gonna get. Are they gonna take it serious when they go back to Golden State, or what's on their mind? So I still have the Warriors winning this series, but part of me really hopes the Memphis Grizzlies put that pressure on them so we can see a good ball game from them, because that's not even fun to watch from an entertainment perspective. You see somebody up 45 points in the third quarter or whatever it was, you changing the channel. I'm not about to keep watching this blowout. But let's transition. As we mentioned, we had the Nets GM Sean Marks. He was saying that he still hasn't made a decision about extending Kyrie Irving's contract. And if Kyrie Irving decides to opt out of his player option for 2022-2023 for a long-term extension. Now, Sean Marks, one more time, let's go ahead and play the clip.
We've been discussing, and we will continue to debrief on and discuss throughout this off season. And it's honestly not just Kyrie. I mean, you bring Kyrie up, but we have decisions to make on a variety of different free agents throughout our roster. We haven't had any of those discussions yet, so it'd be unfair for me to comment on how it looks with us and Kyrie, because to be quite frank, he has some decisions to make on his own. So he has to look at what he's going to do with his player option and so forth like that. But I think we know what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
All right. Yeah. So is it smart? With that being said, is it smart to actually sign Kyrie Irving to a long-term extension? Because some people say, well, Kyrie Irving missed so many games, he has his own mind, he's selfish, whatever, all of that stuff. And my thing is here, it's Kyrie Irving. Yes, commit to Kyrie Irving. Stop being silly. Stop letting the media tell y'all all of these silly things and highlighting the bad things, making it sound like Kyrie Irving still isn't a great player. That would be absolutely idiotic not to sign Kyrie Irving back to the Boston Celtics if their mission is to win a championship. Now, hey, if you don't want to win a championship or you don't want to be a contender, then don't sign them. And damn it, if you don't want to sell tickets, don't sign them. Find them somewhere else to go play. But come on now, really use your brain. If you watch basketball, I get it. Kyrie Irving, he ain't been playing. But remember, half of that was because of the vaccine mandate. And I know he had some other games where he was deciding to sit out. I think it was his birthday. He was like, okay, yeah, it's family issues that I need to take care of. And then we seen him out in the club having fun for his birthday. And that's wild. Don't get me wrong. But truthfully, it could have still possibly been a family issue that he was going through. We don't know that. And my thing with Kyrie Irving, he says a lot of things in media that they dislike. And he says a lot of random things that people may even agree with. But ultimately, he never explains anything, which is why I think it gets taken the wrong way sometimes, because he may say a bold statement, but rather than elaborating on that and saying, well, this is what I mean by that, he just let it be whatever. Interpret it the way you want to interpret it. And it's like, okay, cool, because if you really don't care what they think, hey, more power to you for keeping your own peace of mind, ignoring all of that stuff, ignoring everything going on. But let's be real. He's an NBA champion, 7-time NBA All-Star, NBA All-Star Game MVP, won Rookie of the Year, and one of the most elite scorers to ever touch a basketball when we talking about strictly scoring the ball and your craftiness. Like, why would you really seriously debate possibly giving that up? Yes, I get he may not be as most committed, or he may not be as committed to basketball and playing every single game like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. But yet he's still there, and he still wants to win. He still wants to ultimately win a championship if it comes down to in season and playing in season. He wants to win ball games. It's just they won the vaccine mandate. He didn't want to get the vaccine. But yet we're living in America where half the people in America didn't even want to wear a mask. But yet we crucified Kyrie Irving for choosing not to wear a vaccine as if he's the only person in America in any sport that decided he didn't want to get the vaccine. Like that's pitiful. And yeah, that worry that, well, if we sign Kyrie to a long-term deal, how much will he actually play in these games? How much will he sit out? Okay, I get that fear, but work it out. Work it out in the details of the contract. Say you have to play this many amount of games to get this extra amount of money, or say you have to do a certain thing. Like, you can work these things out in the contract. These things are workable. Like, it's not as if you're going to sign Kyrie Irving and he's going to miss the whole season. We were in it. They were still playing basketball throughout a worldwide pandemic. There's still a pandemic that's been going on for about 2 years now, and the NBA has not stopped at all. And because of that, he just decided he didn't want to get the vaccine. So I get it. It can be frustrating because it's like, okay, well, your team needs you. They need you to play these games, and they need you to adjust and find their role while you're playing as well. I get all of that, man. But at the same time, you can't blame this guy for something that he deeply believes in. If he believes that he doesn't want to get the vaccine, then he shouldn't get the vaccine. If he doesn't want to play this ball game, okay, he doesn't want to play. He's accepted all of his consequences for all of his actions. My thing is, as long as he's accepted his consequences for his actions, what else is there to talk about? It's not like he's going around saying, hey, I deserve this much more money for doing this. No, he's not doing none of that. He's accepting his consequences. He had to miss games, lose money on the road games, lose money on the home games, all of these things, and he's accepted it. So my thing is, why is it we're still making a huge deal out of him playing games if he's accepted all his consequences? Just simply put it in a contract and keep Kyrie Irving. It would be idiotic for them to even think about trading Kyrie Irving away because he sat out during a season where there was still a worldwide pandemic. Come on now. How silly is that? Anyway, I appreciate you if you've been hanging with me for this time. We are going to go ahead and wrap up here. That's about all we have today. Be tuned, though. We do have more things coming to the run, actually. We have a voicemail service here. And you are going to be able to call in at any time. Leave your comments, ask questions, tell me how you feel, leave an insult, and we have to respond to whatever you're saying. We'll pull up the voicemail. All you need to do is just leave your name, and you can find the number on our Instagram page. That's where I'll get you. We're putting the number on our Instagram page at The Run Podcast. You can find us on there. So if you're listening and you want to be a part of The Run, be sure to check it out, man. Go ahead, listen to us, and give us some feedback. You can talk about us, throw your own sports take out there. Give an insult, give a compliment. Either one don't matter, man. You can give hate, love. We gonna get a response either way. But all right, man. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Run Podcast. You can follow my personal Instagram as well at I am Manny Wilson. But that is all we have for you today. And we will be back next week on The Run, and so on and so on and so on.